Welcome to the What's a Verdict podcast, where we fashion ourselves cinematic judge and jury. My name's JJ Crowder. I'm here with my co-host Mattson and
I better read than dead.
and Alec Burgess.
Let's get it.
We appreciate you tuning in. Go ahead and hit that follow, subscribe, like, bell notification button so you can keep up with all of our episodes. Help us grow the podcast. Go tell a friend, family member, train conductor, a bunch of crazy people, and some, no, don't tell kids about us. That's not a good idea. But
thought we were wholesome entertainment, JJ.
Yeah, not so much. Maybe not. Maybe you are. With that, we're continuing on. Week 4. Geez, week 4 of December and Christmas movies. We're kicking week 4 off and just running right down the line of Christmas with the Polar Express. It was released November 10th, 2004. It was written by Chris Van Allsburg and Robert Zemeckis. It was directed by Robert Zemeckis. It stars Tom Hanks, Chris Coppola, Michael Jeter, Leslie Zemeckis, Eddie Deason, Nona Gay, Peter Scolari, Brendan Keane, and Andy Pellick. It is about, on Christmas Eve, a young boy embarks on a magical adventure to the North Pole on the Polar Express while learning about friendship, bravery, and the spirit of Christmas. That's a very generous synopsis. So,
all right, quick trivia. I'm curious for both of you. How many pages is the actual book?
16.
110.
Both of you are, Alex way closer than you, 32, but 60. Alec, you got to remember there's illustrations in this thing.
There you go.
It's a picture book, and then how many words are in this book?
16.
I'm going to give JJ
900.
Yeah, wait, JJ, way to go. They, according to ChatGPT, I don't know if it says somewhere between like 1,000 to 1,200, which I don't know why but this is I haven't cracked open this book in forever. The pages that actually have text, there's a real story to this book. It's not just like those little children's books where it's like, and he opened present bells. It's more cool. But the point I'm trying to get to is, how is this movie an hour and 40 minutes? Like, if they did an hour and 20 minutes, still, I'm like, bro, there's just so much in this movie that just makes me want to pull my hair out. And then the other thing, having just watched it last night, I have to say, before I get this off my chest, is whoever did the animation, it's creepy to me. Like, there's times when I'm looking like, the warm and fuzzies, like, on the kids, it kind of looks fine, but any of the elves and all that, I'm just like, man, sometimes you freeze framed it. They just look creepy in their movements. Like, I feel like they took Dobby from Harry Potter, tried to make it look cuter. Sometimes it worked, and many times it's just laying it flat in its face. I'm going to stop complaining for a little bit. I have more complaints about this movie. My dad, Bald Eagle, Ronnie D, sorry to trash in your movie, but it sucks.
I've never cracked this book, and this was the first time I'd watched this movie in its entirety because I can't handle the animation, and it just never has made a lot of sense to me from it's just such a disjointed movie all over the place. But funny story, like, Casey loves Christmas. She loves Christmas movies. Like, we watch some very terrible shit during Christmas, like all of the Netflix garbage and we watch it all. Well, she watches it all. I sit and do other things on my phone or something, but like, it's on playing in my house. So I was telling Casey, I was like, we're watching Christmas movies this month. I was like, so it's round 2, because like the other day I was like, I gotta watch Polar Express. I gotta watch Klaus. So we sit down. She goes, okay, and I turn on Polar Express, and like 5 minutes into it, she's like, I need you to go watch this somewhere else. And I was like, God damn it. So then I ended up watching it in my office here, and then like I'm just like, well, this is bullshit, because like it's so bad. Like she goes, I just can't handle the animation, and I don't like, this is weird.
What's wrong with the animation? Talk to me about it. Like, it just feels off-putting.
I think it was in the like, I don't even know. Like it couldn't have been the first attempt at a full CGI. I think it was the attempt to try to make it look human and CGI. Like either you're gonna be like, you either need to do it live action and pay the money, which you probably would have paid less for live action than they did in this movie. I don't know what the budget was, but I bet you it was up there. Or like make it full on animated, like make it cartoony. But like, I don't know, it just didn't work. Like it's fine in like a Toy Story thing where the humans look goofy because it's not about them. But like when it's about them, yeah, it just didn't work
So
for me.
the reason it didn't work is they used motion capture technology, but it was like in the early era of it and panning it with animation. And I guess what you see is what you get. Clearly way better now, but it just this movie has not aged well because I think a lot of it is some of the facial expressions and things. It's just like isn't fully there, and then they kind of come off like humanish, robotish, and like devoid of emotion at times. And some of the smiles, that's what I remember. Though some of the smiles, I was like, "Oh, you look like Alec with a knife behind his back."
It's good stuff. What about you, Alec? What do you think of old Polar Express?
I don't think I hate it as much as you guys do, but the two parts that I enjoy are probably the two parts that could get cut out of this movie. Because I really enjoy everything with the hobo.
Fair.
And then the engineers. Like both of those parts or anything that those characters are involved in, I think is hilarious. The rest of it I can kind of do without. I mean, the hot chocolate song's catchy. I like that. But it's out of place. And, you know, I think it just, they try to do too much with a 32-page book to turn it into an hour and 40-minute long movie. And what they tried to do didn't land well or fit to what we got.
Yeah. I agree.
So I will say, as JJ's talking, just the hot chocolate scene, they actually like reference hot chocolate in Polar Express, the book. So that's one of the ones where I'm like, I don't.
Yeah, but they didn't do a huge musical number. I think it's great, but
that's where
like,
it makes sense to me why they would have done a musical bit to that, because you got to stretch out like 2 sentences into like a 4-minute bit or whatever it was. Like I can accept that, where like the hobo, for instance, did not exist in the book, and then they made something completely out of left field where I really don't care for his scene so much because it just feels completely out of touch with the book. But
yeah, I think it benefits me that I've never read the book.
If you read the book, it's worse, because then you just are really like,
I don't think it's worse
where they're going.
I just think this was like Robert Zemeckis saying, I want to make this movie about this book, and calling his friend Tom Hanks and saying, hey, can you do like 8 voices in this movie for me? And we'll go from there.
Now,
Like,
what was the choice on that as well?
I don't know. Well, because it's Tom Hanks. And if he does like 6 voices, then you only got to pay Tom Hanks.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. That's what this has always felt like to me. And it's kind of funny because I think the only reason that it's as popular as it is because it's got Tom Hanks in it and it's a popular book. And so people just naturally gravitate to it and go, oh, I love the book. I love the movie. I just don't see, I don't know. And maybe it's because part of it is because I've never, Christmas movies have never been like my favorite thing unless they're off the wall and weird or comedies, things like that. But like this one just doesn't, I don't get, even at the end, like when you're supposed to feel all like, yay, Christmas and shit. Like, I'm just like, meh. I don't like it. Like, it just didn't do anything for me. And I think part of that too is it feels like the whole movie, and I remember watching it the first time when I first watched like the first half of it before I was like, I can't do this anymore. Years ago, like I was like, is this a dream? Is it not a dream? Is this kid fucking cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs? Like, what the fuck is going on right now? Like, and I think I was so distracted, and I found myself this way too. Like, I was asking those same questions. I was like, I mean, I don't understand. Like, I'm so distracted by trying to figure out if this dude's really on a train because it's all magical and Santa and shit, or if he's pissed because he went down and the cookies weren't eaten, and so now he like actually did fall asleep and he's dreaming of like Santa and the whole thing. Like, I'm just like, I'm so distracted. And I mean, that's my ADD mind, but I was just like, and then I was like, oh, wait, we're fucking, what the hell's going on with all these? Like, that sounds like Tom Hanks again. And I just can't focus anything in this movie. So disjointed. It's all over the place.
Yeah, Tom Hanks stuff throws him off. In the book, it's about, as you see at the end, the one thing this book does well is it has a good message at the end. It's the belief of Christmas and being able to hear the jingle bell, and having that belief. And the book hits at home. And I will say that at the end of this movie, like as we talked about earlier this month, Christmas movies that actually like send a message home. When the conductor's punching the tickets and the stupid nerd kid with the glasses needs to learn. I don't know. I just didn't put like "shut up" on his ticket or something like that. That might have been best. The girl that got lead, and then his one believe is what's in the book, and it's like keeping that belief in Christmas, like all year round and like in your heart. And so I think from what I haven't read the book in a while, but I think the reason like the train appeared for him is because his belief was lacking. And obviously this was a journey to strengthen that. But the problem with this movie is you don't really feel that or know that. And maybe till like the very end, because like you're saying, Jay, there's just a hodgepodge of things. And you're like, oh, maybe this is the message I'm supposed to take away from this. But they don't really like make you feel that maybe till the end, and they just put a bunch of other things in front of your face, and there's like 6 Tom Hanks characters, and then you're just left to wonder what you're watching.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to read the book and so that I can understand, like, because it sounds like they took something that actually was pretty good and had a good message and were like, let's make it overbloated and full of shit that didn't exist in the book. But you can't make a movie about a 16-page book.
Well, it's the same thing with like the Grinch movies, right? Like they're starving for content, and maybe some of those were better done than this, but suffers from the same issues. Like you got very little subject matter to work with, and then you got to stretch it, and usually doesn't work.
Yeah.
Because we already F up enough large books turned into movies that we're already screwing up. So what are we going to do with like a 30-page children book?
Yeah.
Maybe not make it into a movie.
Right?
Yeah.
Just leave it a fucking book. I don't know.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah. But I mean, it's a pretty strong commentary on Hollywood in general right now. Like, ooh, people read this book. Let's make a movie. It's just like, the fuck is going on right now? Like, you don't have to. It could just be a good book. Like, I swear to God.
Yeah, but nobody knows how to read anymore, JJ. That's the issue.
There's a comedian. I don't remember his name, but he's from Cleveland, and he makes me laugh. Like, he's kind of like an angry comic type guy, but he's like, he talks about that. Like, he was like, man, when I was in school, he's like, who wants to read? And he's like, nobody reads. It's like, that's what you got a movie for. Let's go watch the movie. He's like, I was in school, like they made us read Jaws, and he's like, why would I read it? Look, you got a movie. It's got a 50-foot mechanical shark. It's got this actor, and he's got like this, and it's like awesome intense. He goes, the book's got pages. Like, what do I do with that? Everything good's made into a movie. Go watch the movie. And I was like, oh, sure. I prefer books. But
I mean, I'm trying to think of So the only two books that come to mind that like the movies were like pretty well done: Lord of the Rings and Ready Player One. Solid adaptation, pretty across, like pretty good in my opinion. They missed out on some things, but and like the Harry Potter ones, like they did fine. But
Yeah, I wouldn't know about the Harry Potter.
I mean, these days, like without people writing books, like what does Hollywood want to do? They just get lazy. Like, it's a good book. Let's turn it into a movie. Do we even write original stuff anymore?
Hell no.
Too
There's
much
very
time.
few. And even ones like there's been some that I was like, yeah, this is great. It's new, it's different. And then I was like, oh, it's based on a short story. Fuck. Yeah, there's a Matt Damon movie, and I can't think of the name of it now. But like that's the last one that I was like, this is great. It's different. It's oh fuck. It's not original. They stole it from a short story. But I think one of the biggest problems with all book adaptations, in my opinion, is it's either too long because they try to cover everything. Because look, I love the Lord of the Rings movies. But when you start throwing in like the extended editions that actually cover all the material, good fucking God, you're watching movies for a week.
Yeah.
And so it's like, but you need that to get the detail of that a book can provide, or they miss out on a bunch of shit, or you get this one where there's not enough content to actually make a movie. And so you end up with weird ass fucking hobos and engineers. And you're like, where'd these guys come from? No matter how entertaining they might be, they still, you're like, no, what the hell's going on? So I don't know. We've talked a lot about this in previous episodes. Like, I'm just so skeptical about Hollywood these days. That's why it's unfortunate because I used to go to movies constantly. The pandemic ruined it for me.
Well, as we say that though, currently there's 3 good movies in theaters that, I mean, one's a sequel, Moana 2. Well, two's another one's a sequel, Gladiator 2, and then one was written as a play, it turned into a movie. So I guess while they're good movies, it's still the same problem.
Yep.
So I'm trying to think of something in the recesses of my memory that was truly like OG written for screen that didn't come from something, and like I don't know what that is or what that would be.
The one that comes right off the top of my head is like the Matrix, the original Matrix.
I'm sorry. I was trying to say somewhat recently. The Matrix. Like phenomenal movie.
Sure. That's but that's what I guess I say that to say 1999 was the last time I can think of a movie that was relatively original.
I mean, you don't like this director as much as I do. Like, some of the Christopher Nolan stuff, for better for worse, like
That's fair.
One thing besides him doing The Dark Knight, which I still think was phenomenal. Outside of that, most of his stuff it's written and didn't exist. And you can say what you want about Tenet or what was it? The Oppenheimer was pulled from a true story and some of his other things, but they're thought provoking. And I think at least he's someone that comes to mind for me of something that's refreshing and different.
John Wick 4.
John Wick 4.
That's what John Wick was. I mean, but it's not though. Like, I don't know. It isn't. It isn't.
Yeah, like the OG John Wick though. Like to me, that felt different because it opened up a world in the criminal story that didn't exist before. But then they did 3 more of them because Hollywood likes to make money. But the first one, I was like, wow, I've seen something like this, but I also feel like I haven't. So, but
yeah, it was a fresh take on the revenge plot line.
But this is the problem with Christmas movies. It's because we're trying.
Wow,
you have to hit the warm and fuzzies. You have to have the message has to be revolved around similar subject matter, and to make something that feels truly like refreshing and different is pretty hard to do. I will say, Violent Night that we reviewed like a year ago. I quite liked that. That movie was different and fun and new, and like a good addition, in my opinion, to the holiday classics. What's hard is most of these new Christmas movies that come out, and the same thing for most Christmas music, like you're just so ingrained to what you grew up with in your childhood, and it's really hard to get out of that box for the holidays for me. It's hard to make it into my repertoire.
Well, let me get in my bah humbug bag real quick, because look, just like the rest of fucking Christmas, the movie industry and the music industry have all just become a commercialized shit show.
Preach, Charlie Brown.
Look, man, if you can get on Netflix and how many fucking shitty ass Hallmark movies can you make about Christmas? And I think they can't make anymore. And then every year, Netflix and Hallmark come out with at least a half a dozen to a dozen new ones. And I'm like, how many times are you going to rehash the same? Like the other day, and I think I talked about this a couple Christmases ago when we were recording movies, like the Lindsay Lohan has made a comeback because of fucking shitty ass Hallmark movies and Christmas movies. And she was in a Christmas movie a couple years ago that I got forced to watch due to one of Casey's binges that I was in the living room for. And all they did was take the movie Overboard, okay, and turn it into a Christmas movie where instead of falling off a boat, she falls down a fucking ski hill that she shouldn't have been on and hits her head on a tree and can't remember who she is. And I'm like, Jesus H, like they made this into a Christmas movie, but it's all because people are obsessed with Christmas. We love Christmas. We get excited by Christmas. To your point, Mattson, there's a lot of warm and fuzzies about Christmas. So like, how can we exploit Christmas? And then I'm like, you motherfuckers don't even know what Christmas is about. Like I love Christmas for what Christmas is. And I think that's why I like the movie we're going to talk about next for next week is like, if you don't have to do anything fancy with a Christmas movie, just write something good that makes sense to Christmas. And then don't like this. It's just a money grab. I'm sorry. I don't give a shit what anybody says. Robert Zemeckis and fucking, he was like, I love this book. It's fucking 32 pages. I'm going to make a movie because people will watch it. And I'm going to put Tom Hanks in it because that'll make even more people watch it. And then it'll become a classic somehow with all my shitty ass animation and terrible writing. And we'll just make it work. Fuck. I might have an aneurysm. Sorry. Fuck commercialism and Christmas. I hate it. They ruin the holiday.
I'm with you. The amount of Christmas movies that really just revolve it around the presents and things. It's like, come on, people. I can only watch so much of this crap. And yeah, like, I hate this movie. I think I picked this movie so I could hate on this movie because I hate this movie so much. But I vow to never watch this movie again. Ever.
Careful with that, Val.
Well, we reviewed it, so we can't watch it on here. So I feel pretty confident about that. I can make that happen.
That's fair.
We are no repeat podcasts until one day when we review we are old and gray in the hair, and we're like, there ain't no more movies out here because Hollywood's trash.
That's like next week for JJ.
Yeah. Hey, I only have a streak of black left. So
JJ's holding on to the patch. For our listeners that aren't on the podcast, check us out on YouTube to see JJ's continuing to grayness in his beard.
Yeah, it rapidly is getting grayer and grayer. It's good stuff. I have like edges of my mustache that are still brown, and then one patch of gray or brown that's rapidly going away. I started to notice this little streak that's in the middle of the streak of brown. I'm like, God damn it. Just call me Santa Claus here pretty soon. Fat, portly, and gray. Yeah, Christmas movies. And why does everybody got to like fall in love in Christmas? I mean, obviously not in this movie that we're reviewing, Polar Express, but like that's the other one that gets me about like the Netflix and the Hallmark. Is they're all like romantic comedies? I'm like,
oh, they're all rom-coms.
Yeah, I hate it.
Tay loves her
as bitches
parents,
be lonely.
Yeah, her parents love the Hallmark stuff, and we're literally there's the one she just put on. I swear I think it's a Paramount movie, not a Hallmark one. Or what's the other? Not Hallmark. What's the other like big movie studio that has a TV show? It's another one. It's not Hallmark. It's something else. I can't remember what it's called. But I swear they filmed it in the same exact spot. It's another story about someone that has an inn that they're trying to throw a Christmas party in. Some guy, he's been in the town just like the other guy. A girl comes home for something and they end up like throwing the party. I'm like, this is literally the same story. And I think they filmed it in the same place because I recognized the barn. And I was like, oh my gosh, like they're just literally repeating the same thing and people eat it up. I'm like,
oh yeah,
what are we doing? What are we doing?
As long
And
as
you already
those
know
watch
how it's gonna
numbers-
go. You're like, I know they're gonna fall in love. I know we're gonna see them kiss. Like, what's the why are we so captivated by this?
Christmas, dude. I don't understand it. We watched a shitty one about a castle in England or Scotland. I don't remember what it was called, but it had
Scottish Christmas.
oh fuck, you've seen it?
No.
Oh, I mean, it might have been. I don't know. That sounds about right. I think I had something. I think I had castle in the name though, but like, it was like Brooke Shields and Carrie Hughes, and I was like, wow. Your career's a fucking dumpster fire at this point when this is the shit you're making. But like, yeah, it's just like this grumpy old bastard that lives in a castle in Scotland that he can't fucking keep up with anymore. And this huge novel writer that gets canceled because of how she ends her most recent book has to take like a holiday to Scotland because she's like got to get out of the public eye. And then I'm like, oh my God, I could fucking write this in my sleep. I know exactly where this movie's going. It was shit. They're all shit. I fucking hate it. It goes right along with Polar Express. It's shit. It's a shit movie. Unless you're like 8. If my freak of a partner won't watch it.
Can't believe she bailed on you on that one when she's making you watch all this other crap. Why didn't you call her out?
Because dude. You know Casey well enough to know why I don't call her out. I like my life. I like my penis attached.
What is your penis called these days? What's Charles's handle?
Oh yeah, the
Pepperidge Farm.
Large Pepperidge Farm Wiener.
Yeah. I gotta check, make sure he hasn't changed it again. I guess changing his name like friggin' it's going out of style. What I find funny about this month, like we get off topic quite a bit in our I mean we kind of go sideways, but Christmas movies have been pretty rough. Like
not a lot to talk about.
Yeah, like we've stretched some weird shit for Christmas this year. I'm hoping the next movie will fix that problem, but we'll see. There's just not a lot to go over here.
Let's rate this sucker.
All right, you're first. Get out of this.
Oh, wow. This is the first time I've watched this movie in its entirety in a very long time because I've seen bits and pieces of this like when I was growing up, and my dad would always have it on when he was on his exercise bike in the morning, and I'd come out and I'm like, why are you watching this? Like, what are you doing? I can't tell you honestly the last time I've seen this all the way through. And I don't even know until this time if I have seen it all the way through until this last watch because it was so painful. Man, we've seen some really terrible movies. This is a really bad movie. This movie is not something it would really hurt to watch it again. But I guess there's things out there that maybe, I don't know, the more I talk about it, this movie is so bad. I think in good conscience, I have to give it, I'd try to give it a 0.25. I can't do that, so I'll give it a 0.5. I really want to give it a 0, but I know what a 0 is, and man, it's so close to a 0. It's a 0.5.
That's funny.
Oh,
I haven't seen Mattson that torn in a long time. All right, Alec, what do you got?
Not a lot to say about this movie, like Mattson was talking about. I don't think it's all that bad, but it's not something that I'm like, you know what? I'm going to sit down and watch The Polar Express. So I'm going to give it a 1.5. I really enjoy the first half of the movie.
Alec, is your rating system broken? You just said it wasn't that bad, and you're giving a not that bad movie a 1.5. I don't understand you.
Yeah, it's a 1.5. 2.5 is average. Not that bad, 1.5.
I don't know. I guess I never feel like you're all right, my listeners. I'm a man of the people. Just know.
Oh, you cannot say you're a man of the people.
If this movie was black and white, we already know he would have bumped it up by a whole point. So, just disregard him. JJ's pretty reasonable, but Alec, let's move on.
1.5.
I love it. I'm gonna give it a 1. Look, there's no substance to this movie. It was forced. The only reason it's getting a 1 for me is because I'd still watch it over a lot of the 0.5s and like the 2 zeros I've given over the 500 movies we reviewed. So it's
I'd
like,
watch that Moon movie. What's that one you hate?
oh, fucking Moonfall. The
I'd
first
rather watch
zero I
that
ever
than
get.
this.
Not me. I'd watch this before I watch Moonfall because the CGI in Moonfall's just as bad as this. And at least this, it's built in a world of fantasy versus trying to tell me that the fucking Earth would survive if the moon was 2 fucking feet from hitting it. Like, whatever. Yeah, fucking Moonfall. Fuck that movie. But yeah, this movie's not good. Like, there's so many other Christmas movies, like good, decent Christmas movies. Go watch any number of them. Hell, go watch some of the shitty ones on Netflix because even those are better than this shit. I mean, some are, some aren't, some are. Like the
No,
Scottish Castle one.
There's
not
many
so
that
much.
are far. I mean, I'd watch almost all the over like any of the Hallmark ones over this, even though I know how they end because they're shorter for one, and at least they don't make. Said
Yeah.
enough. Me talking about. I should have just said about this movie. This movie sucks. And last thing I'll say, that kid with the I wish I see all the presents I got. You know what? You should have gotten Cole, you dick. Shut up.
Oh god. Mattson feels a certain kind of way about this movie. I don't like it. It's a 1. I'll never watch it again. This is the first time I've ever watched it all the way through. And I wish I could go back and unwatch it all the way through, but there it is. Yeah. Christmas week 4 is down. I don't think we've really have we done any movies that we've been nice to this month?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Tune in next week because I do think we might like that movie.
Right. That's what we get for. That's what happens when friggin' JJ's Pepperidge Farm wiener or whatever picks
extra large Pepperidge Farm
chuckleheads fucking picks instead of mine. Because if we picked my 2, we'd have been laughing our asses off, having a good time rating movies higher. But no, got to pick you chuckle fucks movies that you both picked at least one because you hate it, fuckers.
Yes. That's how this podcast goes.
Yeah, fair enough.
Fucks, that's a new one. You can put that on a t-shirt.
Oh yeah. Oh, those chuckle fucks. Love it. All right, Alec, tell everybody where they can find us.
Oh, happy to. YouTube. And if you don't like seeing YouTube, there's plenty of extra content on Patreon where you can join our lovely patrons, Rich and Mel Brooks and JJ's extra large Pepperidge Farm wiener for some behind the scenes context, some extra episodes.
Show me your genitals.
Ooh, that went way off into left field. JJ literally has an extra large Pepperidge Farm wiener in his fridge.
Genitalia.
And yeah,
what's that other comment from the movie? What's that other movie comment? It's like, show me a wiener, or show me a wiener, or what's that? There's like a famous movie quote. I can't remember.
I think that's a porno you're talking about.
No, it's definitely not.
So with
some
that,
guy says it in a funny voice.
Kick it back to JJ, I guess.
I'm not afraid to search what movie that's in because I'll probably find some stuff I shouldn't. Probably JJ's Pepperidge Farm on there.
Can always count on Mattson for a strangely inappropriate comment. I like it. With that, as always, we appreciate you tuning in. We'll catch you on the next one.
Yeah, go to sleep after this one. Bye.
Hasta la vista, baby.
Cinemagic out.